It's time for the Savvy Realtor podcast. I'm Walter Storholt alongside Angie Cole, the owner and broker in charge of A. Cole Realty, serving you throughout the Triangle, teaching you about the ins and outs when it comes to buying or selling a home. You can find the team online by going to acolerealty.com. That's A-C-O-L-E realty.com, or by calling 919-578-3128. That's 919-578-3128. And now it's time for one of the top realtors in the Triangle, Angie Cole, and the Savvy Realtor podcast. This part of the show we're going to call In the News, where we take a look at some of the recent articles that have made headlines in the real estate world and get Angie's perspective and takeaway on some of this interesting information. A lot of times we uncover just some different opinions and findings and statistics and things like that that might tell us a little bit about what's happening in the real estate world and how it might relate to you. Angie, the first article, the headline was Newbie Buyers Make Smaller Down Payments. This was from the Down Payment Report. And this basically showed that recent stats reveal that 60% of first-time home buyers put down 6% or less on home purchases, which is a decrease from past years.
I think a lot of that has to do with the interest rates being so low. You know, a lot of first-time home buyers, they go into the market feeling that they need to put 10 to 20% down on a home, but that's not true. And, you know, it's great when speaking with a lender to look at a good faith estimate and kind of compare apples to apples. Because, for example, you could put 6% down or you could go and put 10% down, but really look at the difference in the mortgage payment. There might not be that big of a difference. And so I feel like a lot of first-time home buyers are going the route of putting less money down because they're taking advantage of the low interest rates, so their payments are still lower, and then just keeping those excess funds for whatever's needed in savings, maybe to decorate the home. But I feel like that's why many first-time home buyers are going with less money down.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because the stats in this article also show kind of something that you would think would be counterintuitive, that first-time home buyers as a whole are making up a much smaller percentage of overall purchases. So, and in fact, I don't remember the exact number from the article, but it was well below. I mean, it was not just an anomaly of 1 or 2%. It was significant, like 10% maybe, something like that, difference from previous years, from the past, or from historical norms. So you've got the ones who are buying homes are putting down less money, but maybe it's that mentality that the ones who don't realize you can put down such little, they're waiting and waiting and waiting to finally have enough to put that 10 or 20% down.
Right. I think it can be, some of them not understanding that you maybe could put less down or maybe get even 100% financing. There's a lot of different loans out there. So they have this mentality of thinking that they believe they must put the larger portion down. Also, I know there's a lot of first-time home buyers who have high student debt. So maybe they just can't qualify for homes because they have this excess of loans from their college that are adding up, and that debt-to-income ratio can really come into play.
I have a feeling that may be a big reason.
I think it is. Also, the amount of baby boomers that we have, not mass majority, but baby boomers are at an all-time high of the population. So baby boomers are making up a large portion of the people that are buying or selling a home versus the first-time home buyers. In our market, though, I know from market to market, it can really be different. In the Triangle market, there's so many people moving into the area, so many jobs. We do find a lot of first-time home buyers. So I can't say that that's as true for our particular, area, but we're looking at statistics across the U.S. Yeah. So, but I would say a lot of it has to do with being more baby boomers, just in the world in general. A lot of first-time home buyers feeling like they need to put a larger percentage down and they don't have that money to do so they don't even think of the option. They don't think that they can even buy. And then also their debt-to-income ratios maybe are too high, so maybe they're not able to even afford a home at the moment.
You bring up a great point, though, of the importance of the market that you're in and realizing that just because you see something on the national news or something that is kind of detailing, this is the big trend right now, doesn't mean it'll always apply to our area.
Right. I connected with a buyer this past week who I've actually spoken with her, I think it was a good 2 years ago, and she reached back out to me and she was like, Angie, they just tried to increase, or they're going to increase my rent again and increase it up to $1,400 a month, which that's a big rental payment. I mean, that's you can buy for less than that,
Unless you've got a mansion you're renting or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's an expensive rent, but that's what's happening. She said she has been in the same home for 10 years now. Wow. And every single time they just, keep increasing the rent. And she's like, it's time for me to buy. I want to buy, but I'm scared because my credit's bad. And so, next step, I say, well, let's connect you with one of our preferred lenders. Let's see what they can do. Maybe it's not as bad as what you believe it is. Come to find out, her credit score actually is not that bad. She's completely fine. We now have her pre-qualified. She's now working with one of our buyer specialists to purchase a home. So you might think that you cannot buy a home at this time, but it never hurts to take just a moment and speak with one of our lenders to really truly see. So if you're thinking about buying and you're one of those that you're a little scared because you're not sure of your credit score, your debt to income ratios, if you have enough money to put down on a home for your down payment, I would suggest that you speak with one of our lenders. And we work with Ned Ligon with OnQ Financial. He's amazing, and he has a mortgage app that you can download to your smartphone. And with that mortgage app, you can look at interest rates, you can get pre-qualified, you can speak directly with Ned. There's just so many tools and features that you can do with this mortgage app, which you can download to your smartphone. And so to do that, you can text the word lending to the phone number 555-888. Once again, on your smartphone to download our mortgage app, which is provided by Ned Ligon with OnQ Financial, just text the word lending to the phone number 555-888.
Again, all you have to do is send a text from your smartphone to 555-888. In the message field, just put the word lending, Lending, lending. Put that word into the message field and then send it to 555-888. What'll happen is you'll get a text right back from us. It'll have a link where you can go and download that mortgage app. Again, you can get pre-qualified there, get the latest news and information about what's happening in the mortgage world, latest rates, all that kind of stuff, and learn more about Ned Ligon and his team, one of the preferred lenders that Angie works with on a consistent basis. You can text the word lending to the number 555-888 to get that lending app. So I thought that was an interesting article about new buyers making up that smaller percentage of buyers total, but also doing smaller down payments as well. Interesting to hear your perspective on that, Angie. Another interesting article from the last couple of weeks, this was from the Realtor Mag, said that technology is changing residential design, and it gave three major ways that that's changing. And I just find this really interesting. One way it looked at it was that energy was really going to impact some of the physical changes you're going to see in new builds as time goes on here and into the future with, the way technology is changing and the way that energy demands are changing. One great example was they said in the past homes were built to kind of lean away from the sun or face away from the sun, or at least not have the sun kind of beating right through, the main part of the home with where the windows were, because you wanted to eliminate cooling costs. Or maybe it was the reverse in a warm area. You wanted to, be in the sun to have heating costs be lower in the summer, in the winter. Either way, now they're saying, well, if we start doing more and more solar panels, it's going to change how we design homes and pointing them in the direction of the sun because we want to absorb all that sun. And there are lots of other little ways they were pointing out that energy demands might change things.
Yeah, and I see that this is ongoing with new builds. They have the energy, star qualified, and that's ever changing. What is considered to be green and energy star, those levels keep increasing to be within, it's that demand to have those, lower utility bills and to stay energy efficient, which is driving these builders to build this way. It's kind of like building codes. Building codes are ever changing, because as years go on, we realize that, hey, for example, the gas line, needs to be bonded. Back in the day, that wasn't a concern. Same thing with the energy efficiency. It's, what can we do? What can we tweak to make our utility bills lower? So it's important. It's going to be ever changing with the market.
We're going through the same thing, speaking of building codes, looking to replace our water heater, and we have to get it up to code as well. It's sitting on bricks that are kind of falling away. It's like, you have to have a concrete pad now instead of the brick pad, so we've got to upgrade that. So, you're right.
Similar.
It's always changing. All these little things.
It is. But it's for the better. But, it's important that builders, they keep up and they stay ahead of the game, because if they don't, another builder is going to beat them out and have all these cool features to sell.
Right.
If you have a buyer walking through one builder's home versus another, and if the other one can say, hey, based on how we build our homes, we can save you this amount of money. I mean, that's important.
Are builders starting to put in things like the first thing I think of when it comes to energy and technology merging is the thermostat and the smart learning thermostats? Are they putting those in now as standard?
Yeah, and I'm drawing a blank on the builder who we just toured their homes recently, but they now, every home comes standard with that feature with the thermostats, the lights. You can even connect it to your blinds and shades, and it's all from your phone. It's all very smart home.
That's pretty cool.
It's really neat.
That seems like the kind of thing that would be tough to upgrade a current home to. I mean, that's a lot of changes to make. But coming in a new home, that's going to start to make new builds more attractive because of those features.
Yeah, they have, you can lock, kind of like your cars, how people, they can start them, from the remote start. Same thing with their home. It's, hey, you can do everything from your phone. You can set the alarm. You can, unlock your door. It's just some neat features and things that you can do.
You can even have it so that when you get within a mile of home, it'll go ahead and kick on. You don't even have to touch anything. It knows you've come within a mile of the home.
Yep.
It'll go ahead and kick on the air or the heat to
it
what
will
your desired
adjust
setting
accordingly. It's once again keeping up with the times, and you have to do those items, to stay ahead of the market and make your product most appealing.
All of this pretty much, kind of comes back to technology, of course, but that's how the energy demands and technology sort of merge. Retail is another thing that they pointed at in this article, where we're moving into this world where you can have almost anything delivered to your home. Amazon recently made news where they're going to start, you can give them a key basically, and they can just walk into your home and deliver the package instead of putting it on. Oh, yeah. So they're going to do a new program. It's not in our area yet.
Okay.
Where you can walk in, you basically give the delivery guy a key.
That's
and then
weird.
When he has a package, instead of leaving it on the front porch, he just opens the door, sets it inside, and locks the door behind him.
That seems like a headache. It seems just seems like a disaster waiting to happen. Okay, misplacing keys. I mean,
I know our dog would never allow a delivery man inside the
I mean,
front
what
door.
if you let an animal out and they get lost? I mean,
Yeah.
you just, you never know who's truly in your home. We love our delivery guy, but you just can't trust everyone. Didn't Amazon just purchase Whole Foods as well?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazon is taking over, and
Yeah.
I know we give them a lot of business.
Yes.
Personally.
So take this as a great example then. In the retail space, they say, they used groceries as a perfect example, where homes are starting to be designed with these sort of receiving boxes or delivery boxes, but because, in the past, if you had one of those, so I guess that's the idea of a similar idea, and that makes more sense to me, rather than having a key to the home, you have some sort of delivery space or box where things can get dropped off into.
Yeah.
And so homes are being built with those, but now they're being built with those that also control heating and cooling in case you're getting your groceries delivered.
Yeah, I mean, we, for example, we're addicted to the HelloFresh. Here's a little plug for HelloFresh. You're welcome. But yeah, we get it delivered every single Monday, but it comes cooled in a cooler, but you can't leave it out but for so long until you store it. So that would be wonderful to have that on the side of our home.
Every once in a while, and if it arrives while we're both at work, then it's just sitting out there. Now they usually package it pretty well, but it would be more comforting to know that the lobsters that we ordered for an anniversary dinner or something like that are in a protected space. We don't want anybody stealing our lobsters.
Well, and coming into the season, you hear more and more, which is so sad, about packages going missing.
Right.
So I think by having that added feature onto your home, where it's just a little bit more secluded, the privacy of packages going into a certain compartment, I don't foresee a bad person coming in, digging through the compartment to try to steal items. It's just when they're visible to the eye that things can go missing, unfortunately.
Other changes that they said would impact things would be self-driving cars, landing pads for delivery drones. That'll be the day when you've got a landing pad for a delivery drone in your front yard.
Right. Well, and I know it seems just so far-fetched, but we're already seeing at shopping centers where they have the plug-ups for, the battery-powered cars, which to me seems like, watching the Jetsons, show. It seems...
I totally forgot that the Jetsons existed.
Oh, yeah. I love that show growing up. But yeah, I mean, I could see that eventually being at our home. All homes will need the certain stations for charging, their self-driving cars. And yeah, they talk about drones. That's already in some areas, right? Where they have drones delivering packages.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think the thing is, you're going to see some of these changes not necessarily happen in our area right away. They'll first start in bigger cities, and think about like a condo complex
Yeah.
or a big apartment.
Oh, yeah, smart.
They're changing, this article mentioned, they're changing the rooftops of these areas so that the drones can drop selected packages and things on the rooftop, and then someone will come and collect them from the rooftop and take them down.
Well, it's saving time, it's saving money for everyone. It's another little change, not directly like the features that we're talking about, but with all new home neighborhoods, they now have a kiosk for the mailboxes. So, you no longer have an actual mailbox at your home. You must go to a kiosk. But again, it boils down to, saving time, saving money for the mail distributor. So, we're changing, we're needed when it comes to building homes.
Yeah, it's fascinating to track all of those things. If you need help when it comes to buying or selling a home, or you want a home that has a landing pad for a delivery drone, Angie will help you find that home, I'm sure, somewhere here in the area. I don't know if it exists
I don't know
yet,
if we have that search feature for, delivery drone pad.
She'll make the calls, though, and find where that
I'll do
home
my
exists.
best.
Call 919-538-6477 to get in touch with Angie to talk about buying or selling your home here in the Triangle. You can text her at that number as well to ask your questions, 919-538-6477. Again, that's 919-538-6477. Last one real quick here, Angie, that this article mentioned. The feedback that people are going to get. You're going to be able to give developers and real estate agents important feedback without even knowing it, and that is going to craft how future homes are built. So right now, you might have everybody say to you, yeah, I want a gym in the home. But if you collect all this data that once people get in the homes, and you can actually track how often they use that home gym, because everything's going to be connected to the internet and all that data is going to be pooled together. Builders are going to say, all right, only 1% of people actually use the home gyms that we're building into these houses, so let's make it a less important feature. And that might dictate how future homes are built, the way that they come customized, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to building, changing things, I mean, whether it's, building a home or designing cars, I mean, it's all about collecting data, and a lot of times you don't realize what you do or do not like until you actually have lived in the home. I see that with homes all the time. It's, oh my gosh, we realize that we never use our tub. That's one of the big ones I've seen.
Yeah.
A lot of people are changing. Instead of having a jacuzzi tub, they would prefer a much larger walk-in shower. It's just those things that when you are viewing homes, you think you want this item, but once you've lived there, you realize we never even use that. So yeah, collecting the data, getting the feedback will really, dictate, what's going to be built in the future and, what's most important to buyers.
My favorite thing is the big Whirlpool tub with a water heater that doesn't have enough hot water to fill the big tub.
Because that makes a lot of sense, right? It's such a waste of, we have a Whirlpool tub, and once in the blue moon, our daughter will beg us to get in it, but we do not like to use it because it wastes so much water.
I mean, water.
It's fun to play in the bubbles for a moment, but it's such a waste, and you have to keep refilling it to keep it warm, and no.
You just need a real hot tub at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. That's a lot of maintenance too, though. Yeah. So as you can see, there's a lot of different considerations that come into play when you are looking to buy or sell a home. And we would love to be the person to guide you through those steps and to talk through these items. Is it important that we have a, drone landing pad at our home? But if you were thinking about buying a home and you want to understand the process, how do I get started? What happens once I go under contract? What do I do to prepare for closing? We can send you a copy of our home buying guide, which will walk you through all of those steps. And to receive the copy of our home buying guide, you can text the word contract to the phone number 555-888. Once again, on your smartphone, to receive a copy of the home buying guide, just text the word contract to the phone number 555-888.
And what'll happen is you'll get a text right back from us, and then it'll have a link. You click on that link, and you can view the guide. You can even download the guide to your smartphone to look at it later on. Again, all you have to do is text the word contract to the number 555-888. That's the word contract to the number 555-888. And you can get that home buying guide from Angie Cole and her team at A. Cole Realty. Thanks so much for tuning into the show today. There's still more on the way. This is the Savvy Realtor with Angie Cole.
It's time for the mailbag. We want to hear from you.
Betsy says, is a rent-to-own strategy a bad idea? You see those signs from time to time, or rent to own, or you might see it on like a listing if you're looking to rent an apartment or that kind of thing?
Right. It's, I don't know. When it comes to the buy side, as far as someone looking to actually buy a home, I would honestly say that that's not the best case scenario.
Okay.
The reason being the inventory levels will be very low for you to choose from. Most sellers are not in a position where they can hold on to that one home, allow you to, rent to own from them, so still carrying the mortgage on that one home, and then go off and buy another home. So when we're looking in our MLS database, there's not a lot of rent to own options out there. So your choices of choosing a home are very slim to none. Okay. Also, about only 5% actually make it to closing. Because what we tend to find that once you're actually qualified and able to buy a home, the options are then endless. There's a lot of other homes that you would prefer. Also, whenever you're making an offer on this rent-to-own home, the ball's more in the seller's court. So the seller more than likely will get top dollar. There's not going to be a lot of negotiation room for you. So it's just not a good scenario, I would say, for a buyer.
How do these work? I mean, you're paying rent, but is some of that going toward a down payment?
Okay. So that's the way it typically works is a percentage will go towards the actual home if you purchase. If you don't purchase, you lose all that money.
Gotcha. So it's kind of like, it's almost like putting a product on layaway and then you never complete the payments and you lost all that money.
No, that's a great analogy there. But it's my suggestion whenever we have, buyers that call us that are looking for this rent-to-own option, we always say, hang tight, let's connect you with a lender, let's go ahead and focus on what we need to do to get you qualified and in the position to where you can actually purchase the home. Because once you're then qualified, any of the homes here on MLS will fit your needs. You then have more negotiation power. You're not limited and restricted to the 5 available homes that are within your budget, within the area. So I don't like the idea of rent to own personally, but that's up to you in regards to if you want to, go down that route. So if you're thinking about buying a home, once again, I would suggest hang tight until you're actually qualified and you can purchase the home. Or rent to own to me is not always the best case scenario. And if you're thinking about purchasing and you want to understand the steps, we have the home buying guide, which we would love to share with you. You can text the word contract to the phone number 555-888, and we will shoot that your way. So once again, if you want to receive the home buying guide, which is the steps from start to finish, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home, it's a great, piece of paper to have in your hands just to walk you through those steps. You can text the word contract to the phone number 555-888.
You've been listening to the Savvy Realtor podcast. I'm Walter Storholt alongside Angie Cole. She's the owner and broker in charge of A. Cole Realty here in the Triangle. And if you have questions for Angie, we invite you to go online to acolerealty.com. Listen to past podcast episodes on the website, read the blog, and all the great information, including the option to find a home right there on the website. That's acolerealty.com. And you can also call Angie with your questions, 919-578-3128.